Welcome to this tutorial series of another system creation. So this time we are going to be creating a ability system, and we're gonna make it so that it works for multiplayer. And in addition to that, we're also gonna be making some different components and show how you can use them to communicate between each other in a way that doesn't rely on them being too interconnected. So let's just jump into it and see what the end result is and then start working on it. So let's review what we're going to be creating today. So we will be starting to click play here, and we will get two different clients and a server. And you can see that there is this sort of highlighting functionality available. So you will highlight different people depending on where you aim. And the different clients can have their own different highlights, of course. And you have these different abilities in the bottom right here, you can see, represented by the keys 1, 2, 3. So ability 1 here is supposed to be a teleport ability. The second ability is ability that throws a character in the air if you have one selected. The third one is a force push, which pushes a character away if you have one selected. So how that works is if we are on the server here, for example, and we press the 2 button, you can see that the character gets thrown up and all the clients are all experiencing that throw up into the air. And also when you throw up, you can see that there's a cooldown being printed down in the right and a slightly darkened widget to show you that this ability is not available. So if we let this play and I start playing here, the ability is not playing again. And also the abilities, when they are on cooldown, have a certain point in their animation where the actual ability gets triggered. So if I spam the ability here, nothing's going to happen until it gets to the specific point when the ability activates. And after that it has activated, I can't use it. And so you can see that the server, everything works, and then you can go to a client and it can do the same thing, and they have their individual cooldowns and it's working fine, and they can teleport around and they can force push each other and stuff like that. And they can also combine things like throwing up into the air and then force pushing there, throwing the server very far away, making him a cranky and probably disconnecting everybody. So this is what we will be creating in this series, basically. So here we are inside of the Unreal Engine 4.26 if you want to follow along today. This will work just as well in Unreal Engine 5 as well. This is a third-person template that I'm going to be using today. And yeah, so you have now seen the end result and you know what to expect. So let's get started with our first part. The very first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating some of the visuals. So we're going to start with a folder called Blueprints. And just like the other game system, this is not going to be super well named because we're going to be having everything inside of this one. But it's fine for you to clean up once you're done with everything and you understand how everything works. But it's nice to have all of the files available because we're not going to have that many. Anyway, the very first thing that we're going to be creating is a blueprint interface, because we want to have the ability to target a player and have that target as our target for our abilities. And to allow that communication to work easier, we're going to be going to blueprints here, and we're going to get a blueprint interface. We're going to name it BPI because of blueprint interface, and we're going to call it visual. And then we can open that one up and we can dock it up over here and save. So this interface is going to be used with our ability to highlight different actors in the world. So we're going to be renaming the first function here, and we're going to call it highlight. And then we're going to create a second function, and we're going to call it remove highlight. So now based on this, you should probably be fairly understood on what this blueprint will be doing. This will just be highlighting and removing highlight of something. So this is all we need to do for now. We're actually going to rename this. We're going to call it visual visually selectable. So it becomes very clear about what it does. In addition to that, we also want to open up our third person character. And we immediately want to go to class settings, and we want to add this new blueprint interface that we've created. Like so, which means we can now see under interfaces the highlight and remove highlight functions. We're going to implement the highlight one to begin with. And this function is just going to be showing the character slightly easierly visible for the person that has it highlighted, or targeted rather. And this is going to be done in a few steps. The step that's going to be done here is that we're going to be taking the mesh, like so. And then from that we're just going to type in set render custom depth. And we're going to set that to true for the highlight. After that we're going to be implementing the remove highlight, and we can put it sort of close here. And we're going to set render, or we'll just copy paste this. So, and that one is going to be set to false. So this is done in a few steps, meaning the effect that we will be highlighting the character with is something that's going to be done in a post-process, meaning that after the image has been fully rendered by the engine, you have an effect that you add afterwards, which is called post-processing. And this specific effect is going to be taking the edges of the character and then adding a certain width of a color on that character, and that is how the highlight is going to be made. It's going to be, the magic is going to happen in a few parts. The first is to have it actually have this setter custom depth enabled. The second part is to have our post-process know about a material that handles this, and the third is to have the actual material. So let's start off with creating that material. So we'll go to material, we'll call it m underscore highlight, like so. And now this material is not done by me. This is just a material that I have got from a different place. I will put the source in the description down below, so the origin creator will get all the credit for that. We're just going to be using the material for our effect. Now, to create a post-process material like this, we need to change the material domain from surface to post-process. And in addition to that, we need to scroll down and we need to change the blendable location, which means at which point this is supposed to take place. And we do it before translucency. That's all we need to do when it comes to the settings of the material. Now we're going to be doing a lot of nodes to actually get the effect, and I'm not going to be going through all the logic and explaining exactly why and how it works, because I've worked with several different highlight materials in my time, and I am not super well versed in all of the material aspects, so I wouldn't be able to explain all of it. So this will just be a matter of you copying the same nodes as I do, have them plugged in the same way, and then we get some emissive color, and then that's the end result. And that's basically all we're going to be doing with the material. So starting from the left then. First we're going to right click and type in view size. We're going to get that node. Then we're going to type in seal, which is short for ceiling, which means you round something up. After that we're going to do a clamp, which is just basically limiting a value between a certain amount. We're going to be having this between 1 and 2. Now this one is going to go into a multiply node, and you can get a multiply node either by right clicking and typing multiply, or holding down the M key and then left clicking. We're going to be bringing the result from this clamp into the B. From into the A, we're going to be having a parameter, and we're going to be doing that by holding down the 1 key and left clicking. This parameter or scalar will have the value of 1 over here, and then we will be plugging it into the A. Now, the next part is that we're going to be multiplying this value as well. So we're getting another multiply node like so, and plugging it into A. The other B here is going to be something called scene pixel size. And this is what we're going to be plugging into B. Scene pixel size is the size of a pixel as it's rendered on the screen. So it's larger or smaller depending on how far something is away. This result we're going to be masking. So we're going to drag up from this and type in component mask. Then we have a mask that says RG. RG stands for red green. We're just going to be having one of the channels here, which is the red, so R. And we copy paste that over here and we drag that out, and instead of R we're going to have G in this one. After that we're going to need another scalar, so we're going to have a 0 over here. Then we're going to type in append. And that's the wrong one. We want the append vector, I think. Yeah, that one. We can copy paste that because we're gonna need 2. So we're gonna type in or drag in the mask R into A and a 0 into B. And we're gonna have the mask G into B and the 0 into A. So we'll move this to get some more space. After we have appended, we're gonna take the append of the bottom here and we're gonna multiply it. So we're gonna put a multiply over here. We're going to drag this one into A, and we're going to have another value here, another scalar. This is going to be -1 over here, which is going in here. I'm also going to be linking a resource describing a different type of material, just that I feel like he did a very good tutorial about it, explaining how the math behind his material works. But we're not going to be using his material in this instance. But just in case you're curious and want to know, he made a very good explanation about it, so that might be useful too. Anyway, we're going to be bringing another multiply here. We're going to be bringing the append from over here into A. We're going to bring the -1 in here into B. So, now we're going to be needing a bunch of adds. So we can do, I think we'll need 4, yes. So 4 adds over here. And for the first one, we're going to be needing something called screen position. And then from that, we're going to get another mask. Component mask, of course. And we're going to be masking out the R and G. We're going to be taking that result into the A of all of these different adds. So all 4 of them. Like so. And then from this we're going to be bringing in into the first add, we're going to have the first append that we did. In the second one we're going to be bringing in the second append as B. In the third one we're going to have the first multiply in as B. And in the fourth one we're going to have our second multiply in as the B. There we go. From here we're going to get something called scene texture. We're going to be changing it from, if you click on it, you can see that we have a scene color here. We're going to change that to custom depth. There you are. And then we can copy this and bring in 4 more of them. So we have them like so. And then we're just going to be bringing our results into these ones, not the top one, but in the 4 below. So we can get ourselves a little bit more space again. Now we're going to do a subtract, and we're going to be having 4 of those as well, and we're going to be taking the top custom depth scene texture and plug it into the A of all of these subtracts. The point of this is that it's going to be making a comparison of the custom depth over here compared to the custom depth over here that we've done some alterations with, so that it can find out what the difference is. So we plug in the color into all the B's here in the order that we have them in, like so. And after that we need to add up all of these results. So we're going to be typing in add, and we're going to be creating 3 adds, so 2 here and 1 like so. And then we'll just plug them in like this to get their added results, and then we'll finally add them together here in the end, like so. After that we're going to be doing a divide, and the value we're going to have for the divide is going to be a -100. And then we're going to subtract. And the value that we're going to subtract with is 1. So it's going to be fine like it is. After that, we're going to be clamping this value. And the minimum and maximum that we're going to be having is 0 and 1, which is default, so that's fine. And after that, we're going to have a lerp node, or a linear interpolation, or linear interpolate. And we're going to have the value of this clamp go into our alpha. And above this, we're going to be working our way backwards now. We're going to have a multiply over here, and the multiply is going to go into our B. And in our multiply, we're going to have a scalar of 1, which is going to go into the B of the multiply. And then we're going to have a vector 4 constant, which is going to be our color, which we're going to be plugging into a make float for. This is not the one we want. That's not right. Vector parameter is the one we want. This is looking better. So we want to plug in these values from, we ignore the first one, but pins 2 to 5. We just connect them in so into our make float. And the result from this we tap into our multiply. Now this color we want to change from something else than black, so we want to have something maybe green like this, light green. It's a visually easily distinguishable color. And then as our very last thing into the lerp here, we want to have a scene texture again, and we want to change it from scene color to post-process input 0. And this is the at which time it's going to be handled, basically. Sorry. So we connect the color in here, and then we have our lerp done, and then we can connect our emissive color in here. And this is the result of all the stuff that we've done, and hopefully this should be enough and I've done everything correct. If you had trouble at some point, just go back into the video and check where you might have gone wrong. Make sure that you have done everything exactly like I have. After that, we need to go and make sure that we actually make use of this material. So we need to go to our post-process volume. You can type in here, post-process volume. So the template starts with one of these. If you don't have one, you can always drag one in here. You can find them under volumes. Here, post-process volume, you can just drag that in. There are a few things we need to do here. We need to check, if we type in bound, you can see that we have something called infinite extend unbound. That means that it will disregard the actual size of the box and actually expand infinitely in the level, so it works everywhere. If you don't have this checked, you need to have the box making sure that it encapsulates everything that's interesting. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we need to go down to, let's see here, I didn't expect it to be expanded like this, but here under rendering features, post-process material, can add an array, we can check in asset reference, and we can choose our highlight here, like so. There. And then we can test this out by going to our third-person character, typing in depth, render custom depth like so, save and play. That doesn't work. Okay, I missed something. I have changed for the capsule component. That's wrong. We want to have it for the mesh, and we want to have stencil too, I believe, as well. Now we can already see the effect, I believe, here. Like that. So that is the effect that we're going to be getting with this. If we wanted to change the width of it, I think this would be the numbers. If we do something like 3 here. Save. And then we start, you can see that it's much bigger in width, the highlighting. So you can pick whichever value you want here. For me, 1 is going to be fine. And then we remove this as well again, like so. So we don't have it active. And that's going to be the whole highlighting part of it. That is all for this episode. Hope to see you in the next one. Keep on learning. Take care.